Groningen is such is a fairly small city compared to Utrecht or Amsterdam. But I would say like the drag scene and other scenes like the misfit community of people, I feel like it's very steady and it's like a small scale, it's a very homely community.
Yeah, it's very wholesome and everybody just is there for each other and we all know each other.
So everyone's really welcome and they're really enthusiastic and it's just really a good vibe.
When you step on a stage at a queer party, it's like the energy, it's so overwhelming. I can be whoever I want to be.
It brings everyone together.
At the end of the day, it's about staying true to yourself. And that's what really matters.
I would say it's kind of like a paradise.
Gravity don't make no sense when you're around.
My name is Fred Blauw. So I'm 68 years old. I've been retired for about 4 years, and I was born in the eastern side of the province, near the German border in Midwolda, near Winschoten. And later on I moved to Groningen because I liked Groningen a lot better living there.
Fashion, black body, ook fashion met leather. Dirty Dicks is a very comic bar. It's leather. I'm Thomas Johan Pot.
How long have you been a part of the LGBT community?
Well, actually, it was very actual when I met my friend in 1966.
Part of the community. Actually, I was quite a bit of a late bloomer. I've known from about 13, 14 years old I was gay, but I had a hard time coming out. So nobody knew about that apart from myself. So, and it was in not till my 33rd I came out, really decided to be open about it.
In Groningen, it was at that time very, very difficult to be gay, and it was forbidden by law that a man with another man couldn't have sex at that time. It lasted 5 years more before the law was changed. I didn't know anyone in my village in the country where I lived until I was 18.
I knew nobody else in the village who was that way. There must have been others, but I didn't know them, and nobody was out then. And this was in the 60s and in the early 70s. So so I just got along that way and stayed within my own bubble, living very solitary in that sense, till I became dissatisfied with that way of living and decided to change things and be open about it. I couldn't live really a gay life if I wasn't open about it. That's how I thought about it, and so I closeted myself very much till that moment.
I was tested for the military service. Friends of my boyfriend, they said, oh, you won't go in military service because it's a very bad time for you and you will lose 2 years of your career. Well, I said, and what do I have to say? And they said, oh, say only you are a homosexual. Well, at that time, it was a reason to avoid military service. But what I didn't know was you become instability, S5 at that time. So I didn't realize actually how it could later in my career work against me. Because if someone who look for new personnel, they ask you, have you been in military service? No, I have not been. I had S5 instability, so it was not an advantage to at that time.
Do you think your life would have been very different if you would have been born in the 2000s instead of the 1960s, 70s?
Yes, I guess so, because at the time I grew up, I knew nothing about even gay people existing. And so I had to discover for myself that I was different from 90% of the population. And so I had to find my own way and to experience that for myself in that way. When I grew up, there was not even one bit of sexual education in the general sense on schools, and that's very much different nowadays. So children become aware of variety, of diversity, and that would have made my life a lot easier, particularly in the first 30 years.
Yeah, I think that many things have changed everywhere, and I think society is more open, and even social media have taken a great part in that. Everyone can find everything on internet, so I think you have more possibilities, and in school there is more discussion about, and from a government there is a say that you have to tell the children in the school what possibilities there are. So that is different. I think it will be easier now, but that is not a promise for anyone, because it depends on your own situation.
And then they have underground tunnels to bring the food. Anyway, DSA topics. Last time that we were here, it was the week before Valentine's.
We talked platonic relationships.
We talked about platonic relationships. Do we want to continue talking about that?
I am Zoe. I'm a graduating student from GD, the precursor to CMGT. I have had quite an LGBTQ life. I didn't know, but it's very open, basically. I am from here, Groningen. Was geboren en getogen, as we say, in Groningen. And I've been doing game design here, graduating student right now. And I've set up the GSA. It stands for Gender Sexuality Alliance. It is basically for anyone that wants to talk about their experience being a student and being part of the LGBTQ, or not even being part of the LGBTQ, just being an ally, or even saying hey, I've had a sexual or romantic or gender experience and I want to talk about that. And every month we come together the very first Monday of the month for eating snacks and talking about our experiences and things that we want to talk about. So I don't really go out much in the nightlife in Groningen. I just talk to people in the day life and the professional life in Groningen, and there is definitely Groningen is very open, I feel, about being LGBTQ and about the entire community. Sometimes you do have bad experiences, but you have those anywhere, because not everyone has the same opinion or the same insights. I mean, there is shocking stories of people going to Dorothy's and accosting people or being annoying to that, or seeing the pride flag there and throwing it in. I think I was throwing it in the canal, but I don't remember that story correctly. Most of that is just people just should be people should have something to do other than being annoying to other people.
Well, my name is Andy. I am the co-owner of Dorothy's Drag Bar. Hi, darlings. See you soon. But yes, I am Dorothy Mail. I am the mother of Groningen, and this is Dorothy's Drag Bar. We're a mixing pot. We're like a witch's brew, so you name it, you can find it. So we bring in different forms of drag, trans, cross entertainment. So, as an example, we had a burlesque dancer here last week as part of the entertainment. We've also had Ariel Freeman, who is a trans drag queen from Amsterdam. I mean, literally on a Saturday night, you're really never going to know what you're going to find in here. Sometimes you get straight guys who want to meet a drag queen. Shall we just say that in a nice way? But you also get guys coming in with their wives and they just want to see what it's like here. You get people with an impression and then they go away with a different impression because they expect one thing and then see something else. That kind of thing. So you never know what you're going to get. That's the thing. And that's why we're here. So. With the door, generally during drag shows, I am usually, or my partner is always around the door at some point. The DJ deck here is right beside the door. And if I see someone coming in, I don't turn around and say, right, out. But unless they look under 18 and right outside, I need to see your ID. But I will filter them. So it's a discreet filter. People don't know it. But trust me, every time you walk through this door on a Saturday night and a Friday night, I know exactly who's coming in and we filter what's going on. Wayne does as well. I'm the manager of the bar. He knows exactly who's going in, who exactly is coming out. So we're just keeping an eye on it. We're not like spies and we're intensely on top of people. But we're all experienced enough to know, okay, this person really stands out. Well, if you look at my mug, and if I'm stood on the door, it stays as a safe haven. As a drag queen and also as an owner of a drag bar, people know me. So I would be quite happy to go, as I am now, to the Taparaya when it was there. The Palace, as it's there. Warhols. The Warhols, that's one place I go as well. But as a drag queen, I have, touch wood, no problems when I go into these venues.
You should go on Sundays at his, like, the queer club thing that he runs.
There's a queer club in...
Great. Did you remember we went inside?
First of all, like, I tell all my friends and close friends here that my name is Conrad. But I'm actually, my real name is actually Muhammad Iksan Saleh.
Do you wanna be a bad man? Yes, you do. Do you wanna taste sweet salvation underneath the summer moon? Do you need another hand now?
My name is Siva and I live in Groningen. I'm 31 years old. I've lived here now for 13 years and I love it. I work in mental health care and I'm a teacher.
How long have you been a part of the community here?
Oh, for a while. I mean, ever since I got here.
My first experience with the LGBTQ community was at Paradigm. I was a performer there and there were a lot of queer people and the community there was like so freeing. I discovered that I really liked the people, I really liked the clothes, I really liked the music, I loved it.
And sadly, in Indonesia as well, compared to being gay in New York or in the Netherlands, not a lot of people get to experience what it's like being themselves, sadly. A lot of them have to hide. I know a lot that have to hide. Like, I can't say names even, but...
being in Groningen and being queer, I think I feel very safe. I haven't felt like really unsafe because I'm queer. So I'm very lucky, I think, and super grateful for that. But yeah, I really am aware that that's not for everyone.
Back in Indonesia, we don't really have this community that is open. And when I used to live in New York as well, I was also being open. And then being back to Indonesia again, I have to be someone else, right? And then when I moved to the Netherlands 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, thought to myself, finally I could be open and be myself again.
Has there ever been a negative incident during your time here in Groningen?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to go back in time to do it, because it was quite a while ago. Just to point out, the attack was very extreme. What I mean by extreme, it was a one-off situation that we've experienced in 3 years. The trouble is, when everyone now talks about Dorothy's and they've seen what's been on the NOS and everything else, it's like, yeah, it's Dorothy's had the bar attack. And for a queer bar, for someone to associate it's a bar that's had an attack in the back of people's heads, am I safe going there? Which can put people off. Although people want to support us, they're also like, okay, is this safe? Am I going to have... And we have had other things happen whilst we've been here. I mean, we had some idiots a few months ago drive past on a moped and threw a flower pot. Yeah, exactly. But thankfully, it hit the road and didn't hit anyone. If that had hit someone, that would have been a whole different kettle of fish. But as a bar, and this is one of the things that we actually had a big conflict with Gemeente, they have a really strict rules about CCTV here in Groningen. But we basically said, sorry, you're not prepared to help us any other way. There's no CCTV on the street here. We're a queer venue. We're accessible to idiots, so we're keeping the CCTV. So again, we have that there for the protection of my staff, but also my customers and my drag queens. So
I experienced a lot of homophobia here, verbally, physically as well. I remember I went to a club. I met a guy at the club. He took me out from the club and we started making out in public, which was like great. But then we also received heckling. People around us heckled, of course. So then we thought we should go around the corner and hide while we keep on smooching. But then suddenly one of the people followed us and hit me in the back of the head while we were kissing. The guy, right in the back, and I was completely shocked. Right, I thought I wouldn't experience that here in the Netherlands. And the guy kept saying, ugh, not here, disgusting, disgusting, not here, not here. I remembered those words. And I never experienced that in New York. Even in Jakarta, where it's super homophobic, I don't experience that physical. And then suddenly here I am in the most liberal, open-minded country, and then I felt someone punch me in the back. That was insane. Not to mention a lot of these, frat bros or those gym bros, those really masculine bros, and sometimes they look at us and they will say things like, echt flikker. I didn't know what that means until I found out. I asked my Dutch friends what that means, and I was like, is that what it means? Jesus. So then, I was very surprised how, for a liberal country, being gay here also has some challenges. A lot. Especially being physically hit just for being gay. Suddenly I see myself, I have to be careful now. Here in the Netherlands, being gay.
What do you think would be required to change that?
As gays, we should, in the 80s, I remember there was a story in the 80s, the time of Thatcher. You know what was the biggest support for the coal miners on those strikes? It was from the gay community. The gay community and civil rights movement go hand in hand. And then seeing a lot of these gays who are forgetting that. They're like, oh, we're part of the mainstream society now. Why do we have to fight more rights? What are you talking about? It's your duty to fight. So yeah, I feel like a lot of gays here forget the roots, the hardship that you have to go through to get all these rights.
A change in mindset from the younger community. A change of mindset in governments. It's very messy at the moment, and it seems that people repeat themselves. So it feels. I mean, I was around in the 70s, but not as a gay person. But in the 70s and 80s, it was very anti-homophobic, but things were growing up. These days, we seem to kind of reversing backwards in some ways, but developing in other ways. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes over the next few years. Obviously, we have a bit of a weird government at the moment in the Netherlands. We have a weird government in many countries at the moment, and there's all sorts of things going on. There's a lot of hate crime at the moment towards particularly the trans community, and there's a big focus on the trans community as well.
I just have my own opinions, and most of those opinions just live and let live, right? And so when there's people, you know, you have, this is not LGBTQ, this is feminist, trans exclusionary feminist TERFs. I disagree with people saying that, like, you know, trans people are not people, but like, you know, all femme, like that just doesn't sound right with me. But those people do exist, right? And so when I come across one of those, or just have a talk with like a person that I have like slightly differing opinions of, then I'll make it known like, hey, that's a bit of friction. Or indeed, when some people are a bit too extreme, it's like, you know, no person should be like straight. Like straight people should not exist. Like, but straight people do exist. If you feel like you are LGBTQ, you just should be comfortable like telling that. And if you're straight, you should be like comfortable talking with LGBTQ people, because we're just people in the end. The sexual orientation or sexual magnitude or the gender of a person should not matter in the conversation.
If you could tell the entire community one thing, what would that be?
Don't forget your roots. Don't forget don't forget where you're from, how it took for us to get here. You know? Don't forget like the struggles a lot of gays not like previous and other gays as well in other places are going through. Appreciate the rights that you have, and those that don't have the rights, well, try and help fight for them. Be the genuine person you are. Don't let people treat you as like, oh, he's the gay person, let's take him to the mall and let him pick our dresses, or like let him help us pick which colors for our wall. I don't know. See yourself as a person. You're a person.
Stop being so toxic towards each other. I think that's the most important thing.
Love your neighbor like you love yourself, right? And please love yourself a lot.
Be honest to yourself.
Get your ass into the queer bars. Don't bitch at me when the queer bars are closing. If you want them, come here. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to be here. They don't self-fund themselves. They need people to come in. So if you want to have Pride, yes, guess who organises it? Us, yes. Our money, it organises it. It doesn't organise itself, no. So just remember that. When you want the queer Prides, you want to have the parties, you want to have the venues, support the venues as they are now. Because otherwise they're just disappearing, and they are disappearing. I've seen 2 close this year. So yeah, we have to really look after our queer community at the moment, and particularly the bars and the centre points where we have, including the venues that are doing that as well.
I guess thanks. I guess thank you for being there. Thank you for letting me be who I want to be. Thank you for being so open and treat people like we used to.
Well, it's a fantastic place to live in. So, yeah, gaat niets boven Groningen. That's a slogan which has been used. There's nothing above Groningen, and I'm proud to be a Groninger.